Welcome to the Holistic Soul Sisters Radio, a channel created to help you heal holistically and grow spiritually. I'm your host, Mandi Rose. I'm not afraid to talk about taboo subjects, so nothing is off limits here. Make sure you hit subscribe and get ready to learn more from me and other experts on all things health, spirituality, astrology, lifestyle, relationships, and so much more. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Let's begin. Hello, my Holistic Soul Sisters. Welcome back to another episode on Holistic Soul Sisters Radio. This episode today I am recording on Valentine's Day because I am solo this Valentine's Day. No, it's not what you think. I'm only solo because my bae had to go out of town for a work meeting. And of course, they had to schedule it on the day after Valentine's Day. So he left me earlier this morning. So this evening, I'm spending time with the person I love the most, and that is me, myself, and I, and you, obviously, because I felt inspired to sit down and record a podcast episode. It is Tuesday, which is Taboo Topic Tuesday in our Holistic Soul Sister community. So I thought, what taboo topic could I talk about today? And I couldn't really come up with one. So I thought, you know what? Let's, in the spirit of Valentine's Day, talk about love. And you all know I'm a relational astrologer. So I use the lens of astrology to help people have better relationships with themselves because they understand themselves better relationships with their lovers, their partners, because they understand their charts and who they're meant to be, and better relationships just overall, whether it's your children, your best friend, your business partners, the people in your life. So in spirit of Valentine's Day, we're going to focus on the planet of love, and that is Venus. And Venus in our birth charts, depending on which zodiac sign she is in, indicates how we love, how we want to be loved by others. What is our love language? What do we find beautiful and what do we actually love in this lifetime? So that's what we're going to dive in today. I'm going to go through all 12 zodiac signs. If you do not know where Venus is in your birth chart, let's go ahead and break that down so you can find it. Your birth chart, if you don't know, is just a map of the sky at the moment of your birth. So you can go to any website, just type in birth chart calculator or natal chart calculator. My personal favorite is astro.com. It can be a little challenging to navigate that website, so you can also use Cafe Astrology, and you're going to type in your birth date, place, and time. Now, a lot of people say, I don't know my birth time. That's okay. Venus is a slow-moving planet. She only moves zodiac signs once every 30 days. So unless you were born on a day that she moved, which I'll tell you in just a moment how you can find in your birth chart, you will most likely only need the date and the place of your birth. You won't need the time. Now, if you were born on a date where Venus moved from one zodiac sign to another, you will see that in your birth chart by looking at the number next to Venus. And the number, each zodiac sign, has 30 degrees. So you will see, for instance, when you calculate your birth chart, it will say Venus in Aquarius, Venus in Scorpio, Venus in Libra. It's going to be Venus in one of the 12 zodiac signs. And no, not necessarily is your Venus going to be in the same zodiac sign as your sun. Most likely it will be in a different zodiac sign. So if you were born a Sagittarius sun, that does not mean your Venus is in Sagittarius. It could be, but most likely it's not. So that's why you want to look up your birth chart. Now back to the number. It may say Venus in Libra, and then there's going to be a number behind that. Now that number, if it is 0 or 29, that is going to be the first and the last degree that it could be in. That means on the day of your birth, Venus probably moved into a new zodiac sign. So babies born in the morning time may have Venus in one sign, and babies born later in the day may have a different Venus sign. So take the information I give you today, and if you need more specifics, please reach out to me. I can always help you discover your Venus placement. Also, understand that the information I'm giving you today in this podcast is just a broad general overview. There are many things in your birth chart that can influence your Venus placement, such as Venus being next to another planet, Venus being in different areas of the sky that influences her energy as well. So there's a lot of things that make your birth chart unique. You may have a sun in Sagittarius, and your best friend has a sun in Sagittarius, and yet you can be completely different people. Same thing with Venus. So if you have Venus in Libra, and I am reading today what Venus in Libra energetically means, you may not resonate with that. And that's okay, because in your birth chart, it may mean that you have other influences upon your personal Venus planet. So again, just remember, this is general, this is overview. It may resonate, it may not. It is fun and it is helpful. So in your relationships, you're going to want to find out what your Venus placement is. What is the Venus placement of your partner? And I'm going to share with you how you can love them, how they behave when they are in love, what their love language is, and how to win them over a little bit. So I hope you enjoy this podcast. I hope it's helpful. Please let me know over on our Instagram page, holistic.soul.sisters. Also, know that our Instagram page is our community bulletin board. So, for any new podcast episodes, new YouTube videos, events, or workshops that I'm hosting, any kind of information, new items in our Holistic Soul Sisters shop, I'm going to be posting them on the Instagram first. So, make sure you are following over there as well. If you are new to Holistic Soul Sister Radio, welcome. I don't always do astrology content here. I also have IMO episodes, which just means in my opinion. Those are a little bit more on the taboo topics where I just share my own personal viewpoint, want to inspire, want to give you facts, want to share with you a different perspective. And I also do interviews with experts in the field of holistic medicine, of spirituality, of personal development. So I hope you will enjoy this episode and stick around for more. So with that, again, happy Valentine's Day. Thank you for joining me tonight as I share this episode with you on my solo Valentine's Day evening. So let's go ahead and dive into this episode on how you can love your partner better depending on their Venus sign. Now, before we can talk about Venus and all the zodiac signs, we first have to understand who Venus is within our birth chart. Now, all the planets I consider life coaches to us, and each planet is going to teach us about different areas of our life. And Venus is the planet of love. What we love, who we love, how we want to be loved. And as a life coach, she's going to rule over those areas of life that we love. That is our relationships. That is also our money and finances. It's also our creative outlets and creative projects. It rules over our friendships. It rules over our material possessions, all the things that bring us pleasure in this lifetime. So whatever zodiac sign Venus, our life coach, falls into, she takes on a different energy. Just like you take on a different energy when you're with your friends or when you're with your parents or when you're with children, same thing with our life coach planets. Depending upon which zodiac sign they're in, they pick up a different energy, a different vibe, a different lens, a different perspective, if you will. That's all the zodiac signs are. They are just energetic vibrations that change the behavior or energetic output of a certain planet. So when we're talking about Venus within your birth chart, we are talking about how you love, what your lens or view or perspective is on relationships and your money and your creative outlets, those kind of things. So we definitely have to understand that before we can talk about Venus and all the zodiac signs. So when it comes to your relationships and when you meet someone and you understand where Venus is within their birth chart, it's going to give you a clearer perspective on that person. When I talk about astrology, specifically relational astrology, we're trying to just understand people for who they are. Oftentimes, we wish people would be different, right? Have you ever been in a relationship with somebody, or maybe you currently are in a relationship with somebody, and you feel like, oh, why can't they be more this? Why can't they be more loving? Why don't they like to snuggle? Maybe I can just get them to do more words of affirmation. The thing is with astrology, and once we understand our lover and partner's birth chart, we understand who they are. We're not here to change them. They have an energetic blueprint that they were encoded with at the moment of their birth. And so within relationships, we find a lot of acceptance and patience and grace and understanding when we can understand their charts. And when it comes to Venus, that pertains to the way that they love and they want to be loved. It gives us a clear lens as to how we can love them better, how we can accept them for who they are. And also, when it comes to self-love in astrology, you also realize what you need in a lover and in a partner. And so it maybe doesn't necessarily mean that that person's bad for you. It just maybe means that's not what you're looking for. Often, as a relational astrologer, people come to me and say, "Oh, I'm a this and they're a that. So I'm a Taurus and they're a Sagittarius. Are we compatible?" And most of the time, people are talking about their sun signs. And when we're talking about sun sign compatibility, that is actually the least important. When we're talking in astrology, I find the moon sign to be the most important when it comes to compatibility. But then we're obviously going to look at their Venus and their Mars, how they love and how they feel sexually towards people. But I'm going to tell you something right now. There is no sign that is more compatible than another. You go through different phases in your life. When you are in a certain phase, you may need somebody that is very similar energetically to you, right? Someone that has ease and flow and it's simple and it's calming. And so you may want somebody with a Venus in the same element as you. If you're a water Venus, you may need a water Venus in your life. But there's going to be times in your life where you need somebody to challenge you, to show you another perspective, to bring some excitement to your life, right? To help you grow. Now, that could be depending on your personal North Star in your birth chart. What energy are you learning to embody? You may find somebody with that same Venus energy and find a lot of learning and growth within them. So there is no compatibility. It's all the phase you are in your life and what you're looking for, and having an honest self-assessment of who that person is, not who you're wishing they would be or how you're dreaming them up to be, but truly who they are. And how is that in alignment with what you're currently looking for? And also, when it comes to your Venus placement, Venus is only one piece of your birth chart. So when we're talking about Venus, we're just talking about the part of you within relationships, the way that you love, the way that you see and view relationships. That is just a piece of who you are. So let's say you have your Venus in Sagittarius, but maybe you have 3 planets like your sun, your moon, and your Mars all in Libra. You're going to have a lot more Libra energy, and if your partner has this placement, you're going to see the Libra energy. You're going to be like, what? How does that mean that they love like a Sagittarius when they have all this Libra energy? Remembering that Venus is just a piece of your energy. Any of your planets, including your sun sign, is just a piece of your energy. So in reality, I'm giving you just the highlights. Doing a personal birth chart reading is going to really help you understand your chart and your partner's chart a lot better, a lot deeper. So I always recommend doing a compatibility reading where we can sit down with the both of you and really help you understand each other even deeper than what I'm going to share today. So I just give that little disclaimer, a little note to remember that this energy is just a piece of you and a piece of your lover. Now, before we start with all the zodiac signs, I want to kind of share about the different elements that Venus is in. So we have earth signs, fire signs, water signs, and air signs. So I will be going through all of that when we go to the individual zodiac signs. But overview, when Venus is in a water sign, the water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. The way that your partner is going to love or want to be loved is going to be with water, which is emotions. They are sensitive. They want relationships that have emotional connection, safety and security, a place for them to feel nurtured and loved, and their relationships have to be more in the flow. Think of water elementally and how water kind of moves. When you have a Venus and a fire sign, the fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. That love is going to manifest in heat and intensity and passion. Think of fire. When it burns, it's burning hot. It's burning wide. It spreads really quickly, right? So depending on which fire sign it's in, that element of fire is going to look a little different. But when you have a Venus and a fire sign, it's going to be hot and intense. You're going to know they're in love and they're going to want to be loved with just as much intensity. A Venus and earth sign, the earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, is very practical. Think of the earth. It's very stable, it's secure. We know it's there every day. A Venus and an earth sign is just someone who's more logical, more rational, more realistic, and they don't seem very emotional. Their emotions are very dependent upon the day-to-day, what makes sense, what is the right way to love and not love. So we'll go through that through each of the earth signs. And then lastly, we have a Venus in an air sign. The air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Air represents the mind. So these Venus signs are going to be more mental. They're going to want to have a lot of conversations. They find their romance and relationships blossom when there's a lot of communication, conversation, and socialization. Now, the last thing I want to talk about Venus before we go ahead and dive into her energy within all 12 zodiac signs is where she feels most at home. Each planet, each life coach is at home in different zodiac signs. They each rule over. Think of them as a landlord where they rule over a certain part of the sky. Now, Venus actually has 2 homes because she is the planet of luxury and lavishness and pleasure. So she's going to have 2 homes, of course, right? So her first home is Taurus and her other home is Libra. So when she is in these 2 zodiac signs, she's in her full power. Now, between the 2 zodiac signs, Taurus is the masculine expression of Venus, and Libra is the feminine expression of Venus. So when Venus is at home in Libra, that's where she loves to be, first and foremost in the sky. Consider it her primary residence. She is the lover here, romantic to a T, just loving love in all the ways. When she's in Taurus, she's more of the masculine energy. So think of this as like her vacation home. And so here she is more in the role of doing love, of creating love, of building love. She's doing the masculine things to make more love in her life, where in Libra, she is feeling more love. All right, it's the moment you've been waiting for. Let's go through Venus one by one in each zodiac sign. All right, first we are going to start out with Aries, and anyone with a Venus in Aries is going to love the fact that we started out with them because Aries is the first zodiac sign, and it's a fire sign. And I call it the energy of a toddler under 7. They are bold, they are brave, they are fearless, and most importantly, they are very self-involved. Now, not in a selfish or egotistical way, but in a self-prioritization. Their wants, their needs, their boundaries are going to come first before anyone else. In Aries Venus, we call it an enthusiastic love because when an Aries and Venus is in love, they're going to take the lead. They're going to make the first move. They are bold and they're going to just let you know how they feel. Aries is ruled by Mars, so it has this warrior energy, and someone with an Aries Venus is going to definitely have a lot of passion and intensity. They're going to feel an instant spark. But with this instant spark, it can burn out very quickly. So if you have a lover with Aries and Venus and you're meeting them and you're getting to know them and they seem very intense and very quick and very direct, always be careful because that intensity can burn out. Now, an Aries Venus always tends to prioritize themselves. So they can seem a little demanding, a little selfish, but they're just protecting themselves. They're just wanting to make sure that they get what they need out of a relationship. And so maybe you're in a phase of your life where you want to give, and maybe you love giving and you love making them feel good. But there might be a phase in your life where you want the attention on you. So there is no great compatibility, like I said, with any of the zodiac signs. It's just a matter of what you are needing in your life. Me personally, I have a North Node in Aries. So that means my North Star, the energy I am learning to adapt to, learning to embody, learning to become in this lifetime is Aries. So if I met an Aries Venus, I would be like, wow, the way that they're loving me is the way I need to learn to love myself. So it just depends, again, on your own chart. So we can always dive in to your compatibility with your partner in a more deeper way. So let's move on. Aries and Venus, how are you going to win them over? Well, first of all, they are really into looks. So if you want to win them over, look your best, look fly. They hate slobs, they hate messiness. That's just what they're going to notice first, is the way that you present yourself, because they are direct and they're going to let you know how they feel. So in return, if you're trying to win over an Aries Venus, be direct, be honest, tell them exactly how you feel. They hate small talk. They hate playing games. They hate being coy. Just tell them you're into them, and that's definitely going to make them feel loved. In addition, when it comes to their love language, because it is that toddler under 7 energy, they definitely love fun, crazy activities, childlike behavior, things that are spontaneous, things where they can just feel childlike and alive. And in addition, because it is ruled by Mars, they don't mind a little playful arguments or banter. This is somebody that you can kind of poke the bear and have a little fun with. So that is a way that they definitely feel and express their love. Next up is a Taurus Venus, and Taurus is an earth sign. Taurus Venus is what we call a steadfast love. And if you remember, this is where Venus is at home. Now, this is her second home. This is where she's in her masculine expression, where she is doing and creating and building love. Taurus is the energy of a builder, and it wants to create things that are sustainable and long lasting. But also, we need to understand that when Venus is here in Taurus, she is in it for the long haul. She is willing to plant the seeds and willing to sow them and let them grow and nurture them over time. So if your partner has a Taurus Venus, when they are in love, they are going to be devoted. They love for lifelong commitment. They are loyal AF. But they take their time. So if you meet someone with a Venus Taurus, they're going to be slow and steady. They're going to want to be sure that you're the right one for them. They are going to nurture the relationship, and they are going to make sure that it's something they're looking forward to building, something that really creates a sense of connection, because Taurus Venuses are very sensual. Venus is the planet of pleasure. And when she's in Taurus, she's all about creating that pleasure. So there's a lot of sensuality here. And when a Taurus Venus is in it, they're in it for life. So they're looking for someone that is steady and strong, someone that is willing to be committed. So definitely know that when you are with a Taurus Venus, they're looking for high quality, something substantial that is going to withstand the test of time, that is going to have a very strong, solid foundation. So if you're trying to win this person over, making sure that you are bringing your A game, that you're giving them a foundation to work off of. They're not going to take someone that's a hot mess and that has their life in shambles unless that person is actively working at building something. In addition, because Venus is at home here and she's all about creating more pleasure in our life, someone with a Venus Taurus loves sensuality, like I mentioned, and they're all about the pleasures of life, the comforts, let's say, of life. So they want to smell nice things and taste nice things and feel nice things on their body. They want their love and their romance to be really overindulgent, right? Like luxurious, and they love self-care. They love pampering. If they go to a hotel, they want to have the best hotel room, right? With the nicest sheets and the beautiful views. A Venus Taurus is really going to see their relationship as a source of comfort, as a source of luxury, as something that brings quality into their life. So if you're trying to win them over, like bring them nice candles, bring them a cuddly blanket, bring them pajamas, like silk pajamas, like literally romance them with their senses. They really are like about the 3D physical world. They love luxurious goods. That's an amazing way to win a Venus Taurus over. Their love language is very much about physical touch, being touched, being loved, being sensual, like a light hand on their back, a massage, with a beautiful smelling massage oil. You're going to win them over in a second. They also love gifts as a love language, and the more luxurious, the better. Self-care them, pamper them, like make them feel like life is roses and butterflies when it comes to the comforts. Next up is Venus and Gemini. Gemini is an air sign, and y'all are hard to love. because they're the twins. Gemini is represented by the twins. And a lot of times we think of Gemini as bipolar. They're not bipolar. They just want it all. It's not this or that. It's this and that. So a Venus Gemini really embodies that energy. And we call a Venus in Gemini a communicating love, because when they're in love, they can't shut the hell up about it. They are ruled by Mercury, meaning that when they love something or they love someone, they are always wanting to talk. They're going to be texting you. They're going to be calling you. They're going to want to talk about random things. They always need to be stimulated and entertained. So this is what makes loving a Venus in Gemini a little challenging for people, because the minute they're bored, they're off wanting to talk to somebody else. So you're always needing to intellectually stimulate them. They have a lot of intellectual needs. They're very mental. The way that they love is they're going to write you a love note. They're going to speak to you. It might not even be about the relationship. They might just want to talk to you about their day and what they did and where they went, and they might want to gossip about the neighbors. Their ability to converse with you, to socialize with you, to connect with you intellectually is what's going to make them feel loved. Now, with that energy, there can be a little bit of a lack of commitment with a Venus Gemini. So just know this. They can be very flirtatious, very lighthearted. They hate serious matters. They're not here to talk about deep philosophical things like politics and the way that the universe was created. They want to talk more about the everyday mundane thing, what the neighbors did, what happened at work today, a new thing they learned on a podcast. The minute that you're not communicating with them, they are turned off, bored, and they're on to the next thing. So you may find that they make an amazing friend versus an amazing lover. And if you're trying to win over a Venus in Gemini, teach them something new. That's going to be the best way. Bring them some source of information. What do you know that you can teach them? Listen to a podcast with them. Sign them up for a lecture or a weekend workshop that you can do together. And most definitely with a Venus Gemini, you're going to want to socialize with them or go out networking. These are the kind of energies that feel love when they get to hang out with their friends, when you like to hang out with their friends. Another thing you can do with them is like play mind games like Jeopardy or any like word games. Get a huge word search on your wall, anything that tickles their mind. And their love language, like I mentioned, is words of affirmation, talking, sharing ideas, texting them, writing them love letters, talking on the phone all night long. This is definitely the way to a Venus in Gemini's heart. Next up is our Venus in Cancer, which Cancer, again, is a water energy. And we call this Venus a nurturing love. Cancer is the crab, so it carries its home with it on its back at all times. And it's really about safety and security in relationships. A Venus in Cancer, when they're in love, they're going to take care of others. They're going to feed them. They're going to nurture them. They're going to show up as a very motherly energy. It is a nurturing love, but they are very sensitive. They feel everything. And so with that, they really need emotional security, emotional safety. Think of them as like the crab with its shell. And when they don't feel safe and they don't feel secure, they are going to go right back into their shell. So in love, a Venus Cancer needs the real deal. They need authenticity. They do not do casual dating. They are going to wait until they really feel safe and secure. Then they're going to fall in love because they feel everything. And once a Venus Cancer is in love, they get super attached. Think of the crab with its little claw. Once it grabs onto something, it's going to hold on for dear life. And a Venus in Cancer is no different. They can be very nostalgic in relationships. And even after a relationship is over, sometimes they can't let go because they feel it so deeply. Now, when a Venus Cancer gets hurt or upset, just like the crab runs back into its shell, this person will typically kind of do the same thing energetically. They are the first to give the silent treatment, to retreat into their own little shell. Maybe they go into their own section of the house. Maybe they don't call you back. Let them be in their shell. That's where they feel safe and secure. And when they're ready, emotionally, they're going to come back out. So with a Venus in Cancer, definitely give them a lot of safety, a lot of emotional security, knowing also that people with Venus in Cancer, because they are motherly, because they are nurturing, because because they love to take care of others, family is super important to them. And they really just want to create a home with you that they can return home to every single day, and it's going to feel good. So if you are trying to win over a Venus in Cancer, you should definitely make them a memory or scrapbook of your time together. They're very nostalgic and they love to look back on memories, and just be their home, be their place of emotional safety and security, and they're gonna love you so much. Their love language is really quality time. They just want to be with you. They want to snuggle. They want to lay on the couch. They want to bake with you. They want to just have that typical traditional homey experience with you. Moving on to Venus in Leo. Leo is a fire sign, and we call this Venus placement a passionate love. When a Venus Leo is in love, they express their feelings with intense passion, right? It's a fire energy, but extreme generosity. Leo is represented by the lion, and it rules the heart. And when a Venus Leo loves, they wear their heart on their sleeve. They can have high highs and low lows, and can be slightly dramatic. Just like the lion, it wants to be seen and praised and recognized. Same thing when someone has a Venus Leo placement. They can be a little bit extra. They can be a little dramatic. They can be a little craving of attention. So when they are in love, they want to shower their relationship with this kind of admiration and appreciation. They are the type of person that would post on social media how amazing their partner is, how amazing their relationship is. They can be very boisterous, very, I don't know, a little involved, let's say, just a little extra. And when you have a Venus in Leo, they need to be cherished. They need to be put on a pedestal. They want to be told how amazing, how fabulous, how fantastic, how creative, how amazing of a person they are. So if you have a Venus Leo lover, just tell them how amazing. Be their hype girl, be their cheerleader. They just want to be seen and recognized for who they are. And if you're trying to win them over, plan an over the top date. This is someone that really enjoys the dramatics, the extra extra. So a date for them is going to look like going on a hot air balloon ride, and then after that, a romantic dinner, and then after that, skinny dipping. Like, do the most, go over the top. When you think you've planned enough, plan a little extra, do it a little extra. And while you're on that date, tell them how amazing they are, give them specifics, and just make them feel like you completely admire them, because that's just how they want to be loved. Their love language is also gift giving. So a Venus Leo is going to be someone that is going to give their partner gifts, over the top dramatic gifts. Then they're going to post it on social media so that everyone can see how amazing they are and how fabulous their relationship is. And when it comes to sexuality and in the bedroom, turn up and show off. They are just going to love that, and they're probably going to do the same for you, because remember, a Venus Leo is a very passionate love. Moving on to Virgo Venus, an earth energy, a very opposite energy from the Leo Venus, and this is what we call a discerning love. A Virgo Venus, when they are in love, they just want to improve their partner's life. I call Virgo the self-help queen, addicted to personal development. They love their life to be organized and perfect and just have everything mapped out. A Virgo Venus is someone in a relationship that you can go to in a crisis. They have all the crash kits, all the things for a zombie apocalypse ready to use and protect the people that they love. They are great at cooking and sewing and proofreading. They're going to show you love in very earthy, practical ways. A Virgo Venus also loves the underdog because they just have this self-help nature where they just want to make people's lives better. So whereas they may not be very emotional or very connected to the emotions of love, they're going to sit there and try to make your life better. But a Virgo Venus can also be a little critical. The shadow side of Virgo is nagging and perfectionism. So if you have a Venus Virgo or you love someone with a Venus Virgo, when they are critiquing you, when they're nagging you, they're doing it out of love, believe it or not. They're just wanting to make your life better. And a Virgo Venus has a hard time being in love. They need to feel grounded, they need to feel connected to themselves, and they'd rather be in nature, to be honest. But they need to make logical sense of things. And love, unfortunately, you can't really make sense of it. So it can take them a while to be in love. And when they are in relationships, it's not going to be in this traditional romantic lovey dovey way. They're going to know what they like and what they don't like. And they're not going to sway from that. They don't need a lot of fluff in relationships. They just need love that they can help people. These are lovers that if they're not needed, they don't see a purpose in being in relationships. So if you're someone that's very independent and doing your own thing and they can't help you with your life, they're not going to be able to show their love. That's how a Venus Virgo is going to show their love. And to win them over, you're going to want to show them a lot of dedication. They are all about self-improvement and making things better, making life better, making the relationship better. So you're going to want to show them that you have a willingness to work on the relationships, that you're into personal development, that you're open to critiques and you're open to improving. And a Venus Virgo is super into hygiene. So you're going to want to be careful of all the little things when it comes to your personal care. They are going to notice because, again, they're constantly critiquing things and how they can make them better. And a Virgo Venus's love language is very much acts of service. But it's not just any act of service, it's in the details. So maybe you go out shopping with them and you notice them looking at a certain sweater. Get them that exact sweater. Maybe you notice that they love to have their coffee with a certain syrup and they put 2 pumps in it and they have it at 8:30 every morning because a Virgo Venus loves a good routine in relationships. They're going to love to have coffee with you at the same time every day. They're going to love sitting down with you and having a ritual or a routine every day. They love kind of getting in the habit of things. So if you notice those little details of their life and you can improve them or make them easier, put exactly 2 pumps of creamer in, be ready right at 8:30 when they like to sit down for their morning coffee. That's what's going to make them feel loved. And they definitely love words of affirmation. And again, the more detailed you can get, the more they're going to feel loved. Then we move into Libra Venus. Libra is an air sign and it is the home of Venus. This is where she is the landlord, where she's in her full power. This is her primary residence. And we call a Libra Venus a romantic love. When a Libra Venus is in love, they are a true romantic. They fall in love with the idea of love. They love being in partnership. They love being in relationships. They love having deep, intimate connections with others. And a Libra Venus will traditionally date at a very young age. This is the person that's constantly in relationships, that hates to be alone. They thrive when they're in partnership, and they just really prefer to have that connection. Now, they hate stress. Libra is the zodiac sign that is ruled by the scales. So they just want peace and balance and harmony. And anything that tips the scales out of balance, they cannot stand in relationships. So no conflict, no stress, no drama. They hate harshness or unpolished manners. If people are just inappropriate or, again, not in equilibrium, they cannot stand that in relationships. They want to take care of someone and have that person take care of them. They want to give and receive. They want to feel like there's equality and fairness. This is the type of person in relationships that will say, that's not fair. I did this for you and you didn't do anything for me. To feel loved, they really need the balance. So to win over a Libra Venus, be kind to them, right? They are true romantic. They want you to bring them flowers and to nurture them and to give and to take and to be a part of this collaboration, of this relationship of 2 people giving and receiving and doing all these things together. So pay attention to what they like. they're going to show you what they want. They're going to show you what they like. So whatever they're giving you is what they're expecting to receive back. And collaborate with them. If you're trying to win them over, ask them to help you with a project. Ask them to do something with you, like a DIY project for the house. Or if you're working on something for work, they want to be a partnership with you. These are great lovers to go into business with, something that you can do something together. They just want to do life with somebody. So share with them. And a Libra Venus, when it comes to their love language, they actually love all the love languages. Again, it's a true romantic. So they want acts of service. They want quality time. They want words of affirmation. They want physical touch. They want it all. But it has to be personal. It has to feel like you're in it for them. Because at the end of the day, Libra is still an air energy. So when Venus is in Libra, that partner still needs the mental stimulation. They still need the words of affirmation that explain. So there is still this element of mental equality, mental stimulation. And for them, foreplay is very mental as well. Moving on to Scorpio Venus. Oh man, Scorpio Venus. I know all about that because that is what my partner is, and I had no idea what I was getting myself into. See, Scorpio is a water energy, so it has the emotions, but it kind of borderlines on fire energy where it's super, super intense emotions. And we call a Scorpio Venus an obsessive love. So if you want a lover or a partner that is gonna like suffocate you, that wants all of you, that someone that is so into you, get you a Venus Scorpio. When a Scorpio Venus is in love, they go in deep. They want to be all up on your soul. They can want to know every piece of you, be next to you, do everything with you. Like they literally just like want to suck you up, and that's still not even close enough for them. And this can feel a little controlling to romantic partners, especially people that aren't water Venuses, that in relationships, they need a little time, they need space, they want fun and excitement. And then they get a Scorpio Venus and this person is like all about them. It can feel controlling because they want to know everything about you. They want to know your past, your dreams. They want to know what you did today. They want to know what you thought of this. They want to know every little piece of you and your humanness and within your soul. But deep down, a Scorpio Venus is very afraid of intense feelings. They are very nervous and very hesitant because when they fall in love, they fall deep. They get obsessive. And because of this, initially they can be a little manipulative. Until they fall in love, they're just manipulating you and the situation. They're trying to feel everything out. They can play mind games to test you, to kind of see where you're at, what you think, what you feel, how honest are you, to ensure that they don't get hurt. It's all just a huge protection to make sure they're not the ones left crying on the floor. So a Scorpio Venus as a lover can be very obsessive and they can be very jealous. But they kind of want you to be as well. See, their love language is like, if you're jealous, it means that you care. If you are obsessed with them and want to spend all this time with them, it means that you care. So while they're going to be jealous and obsessive over you, they're going to want you to be the same way because that's how they're going to know that you're actually into them. A Scorpio Venus, intimacy is very vital. See, Scorpio rules over the reproductive organs and it is the area of life of sex and intimacy. So a Scorpio Venus, they need intimacy. That is on a sexual level, but it is on like an emotional, I can tell you things, we're open, we can share things within the relationship. It's vital. They need a deep, intimate connection with you. And if they don't have that, they don't need a relationship. They don't want to be in love. And if you betray them, they are going to have deep-seated resentment. There is no going back when you burn a Scorpio Venus. They are going to sting you with their stinger. So in order to win over a Scorpio Venus, you have to have emotional honesty. Even if it's hard, you got to tell them everything. And if you are honest with them, more than likely they're going to understand. But you really have to just tell them like it is and be willing to go into those deeper topics. Have those conversations in the taboo areas of life. They want to talk to you about the hard stuff because that's where they feel that deep, intimate connection with you. A Scorpio Venus, when it comes to their love language, it's all about physical touch and acts of service. right? So if you are intimate with them, if you are doing things for them, if you are proving to them through these little mind games that they're going to pull with you that you are interested in them through your acts of service and being there all the time, they're going to know that you love them. And that leads us then to a Sagittarius Venus. Again, super opposite from Scorpio Venuses because Sagittarius is a fire energy. And we call a Sagittarius Venus the expansive love. When in love, they're not. They're not. They are actually in excitement. And a Sagittarius Venus is really like the playboy or the gypsy of the zodiac. Their love usually doesn't last very long, and then they're on to the next adventure. See, they're going to love you. They're going to be all in. They love excitement. They love adventure. They love fun and games and entertainment, and they are just trying to live their best life. But when that burns out, when it's not fun anymore, when a relationship doesn't come with the excitement and adventure, they're on to the next adventure. They're just constantly seeking the next thing. So a Sagittarius Venus takes a long time to settle down. It's not to say that they won't settle down, but in relationships, if they can see that the relationship will provide a constant source of fun, of entertainment, of excitement, they'll stay. So you got to stay on your toes with these types of lovers. You got to make the relationship itself exciting. This doesn't mean that you need to be always exciting and you always need to be on your A game and always going on adventures. It means that the relationship itself has to have this element of something new, that you're always kind of exploring together, that you're trying new things. And a Sagittarius Venus is very outgoing. They're going to draw you in. They're going to flirt. They're going to be the life of the party. They're going to be the one optimistic and jovial. And they're going to see life as like just this magical experience. And that's what's going to draw you in. But remember, in relationships, they need that lightheartedness. They need jovialness. They just crave the freedom. That's their biggest thing. A Sagittarius Venus needs freedom. They need to feel like they are living life on their own terms. I'm telling you, this could be a Sagittarius sun, moon, rising, Venus. If anyone has a Sagittarius placement, there is going to be a piece of them that wants to live life on their own terms. Do not try to take a Sagittarius Venus and get them to marry you. They will when they're ready. But the more pressure you put on them, the further they're going to run. And so to win over a Sagittarius Venus, let them run free. Let them run like a wild pony, doing whatever they want. Love them through it. Tell them you're there. Tell them you admire them. But when they need to run and explore and try out new things, you're going to have to let them go. Sometimes you catch the butterflies when you're sitting still versus chasing after them. And so admire them from a distance. Now, a Sagittarius Venus's love language, if they are in partnership with you, is sharing experiences. They're going to want to try new things. They're always going to be up for something new. This could be something as simple as cooking a new breakfast that's out of the routine. It could be driving the back roads to a destination you go to all the time. I mean, it doesn't have to be major things always, but they hate to be in routine. They hate mundane. So try to find ways to spice up your everyday experience with them and help them see life as an adventure with you. So hopefully with a Sagittarius Venus lover, you like to go on adventures. You like to plan trips. You have a passport. I think that's a necessity, but you're willing to plan these things or at least go on them. In addition, a Sagittarius Venus loves gratitude. They are, like I said, lighthearted and jovial and optimistic. And so they want to know that you have lots of gratitude, that you also see life as a beautiful adventure. So try to keep those negative conversations, Debbie Downer things for your girlfriends or for your family or for people in your life that's not your Venus and Sagittarius lover. Now we talk about the Capricorn Venus. Capricorn is an earth energy, and we call a Capricorn Venus a dedicated love. When a Capricorn Venus is in love, they just want to build something long-lasting, something that is realistic, something that makes sense. Capricorn is ruled by the goat. So I always say, think of this energy like the greatest of all time that wants to reach the top of the mountain with the most success and achievement, but they're willing to go the long route if they have to. A Capricorn Venus is pretty good at getting what they want. They are goal oriented and they are long game type of people. So if they want you, they'll wait it out. They will wear you down. They will do all the right things, even if it takes a very long time, because they're good at getting what they want. A Capricorn Venus isn't really about the roses and the butterflies and the romance. It's an earth energy. So they don't really have this traditional romantic kind of energy, but instead they want predictability. They want to know that their efforts are going to pay off. If they're going to invest into this relationship, if they're going to spend their time on this relationship, if they're going to spend their money and their energy, they want to know that it's going to pay off, right? They're just trying to get to the top of the mountain with you. And it has this very old money mentality. And what I mean by that is a Capricorn Venus really loves the chivalry of being able to provide, of being able to build something, of being in a relationship for a very long time. And so once they're in it, they're in it. They almost see love as like a contract instead of this magical journey, right? So it's like, I have this role, you have that role. This is what I do. That's what you do. This is how it works. It's earthly, it's practical, it's sensible. It just is realistic, right? This is how relationships work. And it's more of like a business transaction. A Capricorn Venus also, when it comes to expressing their emotions, they're going to express it more in a, here, I did this for you. I provided for you. I helped you with something. I helped you get to a goal. So just paying attention to that's just the way that they're going to love and also want to be loved. So winning over a Capricorn Venus, you're going to win them over by being a boss bitch, by being successful, by being hardworking, by having your own thing going on that you can help contribute. Because again, relationships are like a contract. So you want to show them that you're going to go to the top of the mountain with them, that you have something to offer them, something that's going to create success and achievement. And so that's what they see their relationships as being, is something they can succeed at. And when they start to feel like they're no longer succeeding in their relationship, like it's failing, they're going to put in work, they're going to try, but at the end of the day, they're not going to put in energy to something that isn't going to get them to the top of the mountain. So a Capricorn Venus's love language is really recognizing where they're succeeding, where they're good at, what they're doing, praising them, words of affirmation of, wow, I saw you do this amazing thing, or you got this, and really about seeing them in a very realistical, practical way. They can be unemotional, again, just remember unemotional, but they're going to show you their emotions in everyday ways. So great providers. Now we are down to the last two Venus placements. We talk about Aquarius Venus. Aquarius is an air sign, and we call an Aquarius Venus detached and a magnetic love. And when an Aquarius Venus is in love, it's very unconventional. They're going to play by their own rules. They are not participating in society's norms. They are going to actually start out a relationship as a friendship. And Aquarius Venus is very much about falling in love with the mind and not the heart. Again, it's an air energy. So they are going to think a lot about the relationship before they start to feel anything in the relationship. And they're actually kind of detached emotionally. So it's not detached in a I don't care or I don't have feelings, but it's detached in almost a logical way. So it's like, this relationship is good because we're friends. This relationship is good and for me because we live near each other. This relationship is good because it helps me take care of the kids when I'm at work. So they're just going to see relationships in more of a detached, logical way than in a I'm so in love with my heart. So in Aquarius, Venus is more like calm and cool and collected. They can just seem like they don't have a lot of emotions, and relationships for them can feel very platonic. It usually starts off as a friendship. They grow in their love for that person because it makes logical sense, and they can see it in their future because it works. And when it comes to an Aquarius Venus, they can have relationships, again, like I said, that don't fit society's norms. They like to make up their own rules. Like, We don't have to get married just because everyone's getting married. We don't have to just be with one partner because we can love multiple people. We can live separately. We can have separate bedrooms. I mean, there are so many ways that an Aquarius Venus sees their relationship that doesn't necessarily fit society's norms. Now, this isn't necessarily in a sexual way because in astrology, Venus is the planet of how we love and how we want to be loved and how we see our relationships. Mars is the planet that deals more with our chi and our stamina and our sexuality. But an Aquarius Venus is just going to love in an unconventional way. They hate drama, they hate emotions or anything that's not logical in relationships because an Aquarius Venus is always trying to solve problems. They're looking into the future. They don't want to talk about a fight that you had a long time ago in the relationship. They don't want to talk about emotions all the time. They just want to solve the problem, squash it, and move on into the future. So they're very much like forgive, forget, move on when it comes to relationships. And Aquarius Venus, the way that you're going to win them over is be their best friend. Truly be their best friend, right? That platonic energy where you can kind of be there for each other in that, way of thinking and speaking and interacting with them like you're going to always be there for them. So also be open to unconventional ways. You have to really have this open-mindedness and go with the flow and kind of just allow them to be unique, allow them in relationships to express themselves in a way that is just authentic to who they are. They're not going to fit into a role. If you have an Aquarius Venus lover, do not say things to them like, oh, so-and-so's husband does this, or society says, or you should do that. They're not going to play by that rule. They're going to do things in ways that are authentic and feel good to them. And an Aquarius Venus's love language is very much about unique and authentic experiences. So doing things with them that are just kind of out of the norm, like going to look for UFOs or going to a date night at some place that's like quirky and unique. They're also very like techie and nerdy. So, you can always do things with them like playing video games or introducing them to the latest gadgets. And Aquarius Venus would really love that in relationships. They also have a very humanitarian side. So when you're best friends with them, when you have this platonic energy, really going to do things together with them that is helping humanity in some way. So fundraising money, volunteering at a homeless shelter, anything where they can kind of let out their love in ways that help a group or a collective of people. So that's just a very good way that they're going to express their loves. And lastly, that leads us to our Pisces Venus energy. Pisces is a water sign, and it is a very emotional water sign. We call a Pisces Venus an unconditional love. When a Pisces Venus is in love, they fall really, really hard. They lose their boundaries, actually. They become very romantic and dreamy and live in la la land. Like their romances and their love lives become a fantasy that they escape into. And I call Pisces the Jesus style love. When a Pisces Venus is in love, they embody that energy of Jesus. They're forgiving. They're unconditional. They're going to say, I love you just because you're human and just because you exist and just because you're in my energetic field. I'm going to love you no matter what and through everything. And you can hurt them and they're going to understand and they're going to forgive you. They're also very empathic and very sensitive. They're going to feel when the energy is off. They're going to, in the relationship, be able to sense if you're having a bad day. When you hurt them, they're going to be sensitive. They're going to feel it deeply because they really romanticize this relationship. And when it disappoints them, they definitely feel it deeply. But they're going to love you back with that Jesus-style love and understand why you did what you did. And so a Pisces Venus, again, can idealize their partner. They can live in la la land. They just really lose themselves. They romanticize the relationship and, oh, this person's amazing and this person does everything for me. And they can become a very beautiful lover. But just know that they're very sensitive. And a Pisces Venus can almost sacrifice themselves. Like They have this energy where it's like, I will throw myself on a bed of nails because I love you so much, right? That just very falling hard energy. Like, think of rom-coms, right? When like the hero comes in and he throws himself in front of the bus, like that's a Venus Pisces. They're like, I'm gonna save you. And a lot of that comes for their need to escape their reality with relationships. Pisces energy, because they feel so deeply, they're so empathic, they're so sensitive to light and noise and sounds and energy and people and anything really, that sometimes that's too much for them. And so in relationships, they use that as a way to escape, right? They want to fall so deeply in love with you so they don't have to deal with all the other things in life that are challenging. Like real life stuff is challenging. And so a Pisces Venus has this elusive charm. Like it's kind of like, oh my gosh, I want to get inside their head. I want to have this dreaminess. And you just can very much fall for them because they're so compassionate. They typically love poetry and art and music and anything that has to do with fantasy. So like art shows where you kind of get lost in it. Think of like that spiritual, metaphysical kind of flow. Now, to win over a Pisces Venus, you are going to be very artsy. Plan dates going to music festivals that maybe has like a poetry night, any way that you can incorporate the arts and entertainment, they're absolutely going to love. Also things with like the spiritual side. So a Venus Pisces within their relationships wants a spiritual connection. They want to feel like what they're thinking, you're thinking, right? That romantic la la land kind of energy. And they're really going to want that like 5D connection in the relationship where it's not just like your body and my body. It's like your body, my body, and our energetic bodies are entwined. Pulling like oracle or tarot cards, or saging the house together, or going to church together, or reading the Bible together. They're really going to want to have like this more deeper energetic connection with you than just your regular 3D reality. And a Pisces Venus's love language is very much acts of service, those romantic dates, like doing things with them that connects you in ways that shows that you're giving them your energy. They really want your energy. That is so, so important to them in relationships. So with all of that, we have finally made it through all 12 zodiac signs and how Venus shows up in each energy. And with that, I hope you see the difference between all 12 zodiac signs, all 12 Venus placements, and how understanding that energy can help you better understand your lover, your partner, your best friend, your family, and even yourself. I think this is the beauty of astrology. This is why I take the lens of relational astrology, because we can truly have better relationships when we understand who someone is and what they need based on their soul's blueprint, based on their personal energetic needs. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Like I said, this was totally impromptu. There is no better way that I would like to spend a solo Valentine's evening than sitting here talking about Venus and love and hoping to inspire you all to have better relationships in all different areas of your life. And with that, I'm just going to leave you with a reminder that I do birth chart readings. So if you don't understand astrology or don't quite understand your birth chart in its entirety, I'm happy to dive in with you for a birth chart reading. I also do astro forecast readings. So if you have done a birth chart reading and you kind of understand astrology and you understand, maybe where your Venus is and your Mars, but you want to dive into the upcoming astrology and the astro weather and maybe what areas of life you need to focus on or what lessons you're meant to learn, or maybe you need to make sense of some chaos in your life and what you're supposed to be doing in this phase of your life. I love diving into astro forecasting. And I also do mini sessions, little 30-minute readings. So if you are wanting to talk about something specifically, like maybe you just want to talk about your Venus and your partner's Venus, or maybe you're trying to pick a specific date to launch a business or to get married, we can do a very short, specific 30-minute reading as well. And of course, I do compatibility readings, but remember, compatibility readings aren't just about saying, oh, you and your partner are great together. My compatibility readings are really helping you and your partner to better understand one another. And when I say partner, yes, it's romantic, but it can also be a business partner and understanding your strengths together to make the best business. It could be you and your child and understanding how you relate to each other and what you're learning and what you need from each other in this lifetime. I can also do compatibility readings between you and a friend, or maybe you and a sibling, where you can understand each other deeper and better. So when I do a compatibility reading, when I am reading your chart, I'm actually speaking to your partner so they can understand you. And when I'm doing your partner's reading, I'm speaking to you so you can better understand your partner. So it's very interesting to kind of learn about each other through all the zodiac signs, all the life coach planets, and also understanding what cycles of life you and your partner might be in. So I love this lens. I'm so grateful for the gift of astrology, the gift of being able to do readings and helping people with their lives and navigating this journey in this lifetime. So again, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Thank you for being a part of the Holistic Soul Sisters community. If you are new to our community, welcome. Again, our Instagram, holistic.soul.sisters, is our community bulletin board. So head over there and follow for all the latest updates. You can join our private Facebook community. Just search Facebook, Holistic Soul Sister Private Community, and make sure you're subscribed to this channel. We have new podcast episodes that come out on Tuesdays on all different taboo topics. So until next time, my Holistic Soul Sisters, keep healing holistically and growing spiritually. And I wish you a lot of love and connection and intimacy and partnerships in your life through the magic of astrology.